Welcome to the channel. I'm Jaden Chase, and these are some of the top stories making headlines today. Now, nation, citizens are stating that based on the ruling made by Justice Sykes, Vybz Kartel should have never been convicted, and that the UK Privy Council will indeed release the dancehall superstar. Now, Justice Sykes found the defendants not guilty due to an absence of evidence. Does that sound familiar? In Vybz Kartel's case, there was never any body retrieved, and when the witness statement was made and law enforcement followed up on the statement, the forensics team stated that there was never any evidence to even suggest that an incident of that nature took place at the location, and there was never any evidence that the location was cleaned up afterwards. No bleach, no farm of that. Now, the judge stated that the reason for his decision was that the prosecution was unable to establish who the individual was and if he was alive at the time that they claim the defendants conspired to take his life. Very same scenario. Now, the judge stated that on count 20, relating to the slaying of a man at Phil's Hardware in Spanish Town, he found the defendants not guilty. Sykes said his reason is that, first of all, these are very serious allegations being made, and that evidence must be able to prove it. Fans would state that serious, very serious allegations were made against an entertainer, an individual who makes more money in a month than the value of the weapons that they stated was the reason for the incident in the first place, with no evidence to prove it. Now, the judge says there was no supporting evidence to say that a body was retrieved from the area. He says there was no scene of the crime witness, and there was no post-mortem, meaning say the ME, medical examiner, never examined the body and tell the people what caliber weapon was used in the slaying. Remember, say, when an investigation is ongoing, this take place, them come and retrieve the body. Of course, detectives now are going to deal with the case. The man want to know what kind of weapon and things of that nature, motive, and all thing they come into play based on what take place post-mortem. Now, he said there was absolutely nothing other than the former gangster's statement. Sound familiar again? Remember, because there was nobody and no proof, it was a statement of an individual that the state relied upon for even secure the arrest warrant in the first place. Now, the evidence that was used to convict was so-called cell phone evidence. But remember, a UK expert in cyber forensics, and we are talking about the person who was, or the firm that was recommended by the UK. This is a firm that has worked with them, obviously, on numerous cases. So, of course, when the case is presented to them and them look through the whole situation, of course, just as Justice Sykes has stated, regardless of what law enforcement or the prosecution thinks, there must be enough evidence to prove this. Now, some would point to the fact that the trial judge that took place in the initial trial of Vybz Kartel is now a judge for a different country. The former president for the appeal court is now a president for an appeal court of a different country. Now, some would say this could all be coincidence. But for the trial judge, this situation took place after the trial. For the former president of the appeal court, this took place after Vybz Kartel's appeal as well. The accumulation, tell me a thing. If in this case, the judge say no evidence means defendants not guilty, why was Vybz Kartel then convicted, even though the case seems similar where no evidence is concerned? Comment section, tell me what you think. On to the other stories making headlines, as the reputed leader of one faction of the Klansman gang has stated that he is innocent of all charges being placed against him. Nation, when you look and listen, No nation, Andre Blackman Bryan, the man accused of being the leader of the Senate Catherine based Klansman organization, are one faction of, has professed his innocence. In an unsworn statement from his dock on Monday, during an ongoing trial of the other members involved in the criminal enterprise, Bryan said, "I did not do the things the witness said I did. I did not give any instructions or orders to have anybody's life taken." No, he further went on to state, "I know nothing about extortion money. I am not part of any criminal organization. I am innocent of these charges," said the sober looking Bryan as he stood clad in a grey long sleeve shirt and a tan dress pants. But that's not where he stopped. And he pointed out something which was very interesting. And this might be very interesting to the judge. And based on what the judge has been saying, he said he has never been convicted of any crime. And if the judge is stating that the prosecution is unable to prove that the individual whose life was taken was even taken any at all, they are stating that this incident took place based on orders from Bryan. Bryan is stating that he gave no such order. The individual accused of perpetrating the act has now been freed of all charges as they could not prove that the incident took place. It sounds as if, now, as it pertains to the counts of extortion, Bryan stated that he's a 38-year-old and his profession is in music. Now, if any form of wealth or any millions confiscated by the state, if Bryan can prove that this money was from music, and remember what prosecution has already done is pointed out that Bryan's music label worked with known dancehall artists such as Iactane, which Iactane stated that the only connection he had to Bryan was through music, musical productions. It basically approved Andre Blackman Bryan's point. And the prosecution is the one that has done this by stating that these artists, and remember, I think this was statements made by the witness, but of course, the prosecution would have already talked with the witness and was aware of the statements that were going to be made. Now, this is how other entertainers and individuals' names were brought into the trial. Individuals that were not on trial, to which the judge had to state to the witness that unless the names that he's about to call in his continued statement are names of individuals that are currently on trial, it would be irrelevant to this case. So the fact that the witness made what was considered an irrelevant statement about entertainers, and the fact that the accused is now stating that no, he is indeed a producer of music, then basically the prosecutors have helped with the defense. Some have stated that these defense attorneys are probably some of the best defense attorneys we have ever seen. And I true, this is a major case. Johnny Cochran made his name from that. When he was already I'm gonna put it, a known figure in the American judicial system. But after that, O.J. Simpson case, he has always been remembered since. Now, for these defense attorneys, would they even know them name? No. But after this, everybody gonna know them name. After millions of taxpayer dollars invested, some would say this trial has been a waste. Talk to me in the comment section. You know the sentiment and the reason again. Live, love, and prosper. Stay tuned.